Welcome back, Gabie. I'm Steve Buck. I'm the host of Living the Dream. Gabie here is my co-host. Just to revisit a minute to recap what we talked about last time, bring people up to speed. Just do it.
Just do it.
As I said in our last episode, I love that saying from Nike. You let us know that they jacked that saying from somebody else. So maybe Nike should pay them so that they can live the dream. But that's an important message. Just do it. We talked about this idea that what it means to just do it is that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. So we have to take the first step. Just do it. Take the first step.
Got to do it.
Okay. We warned everybody the minute they take the first step and they decide that they're going to live the American dream. Who's the first person to show up?
The haters.
Haters. And it's going to be more than one. It's not just going to be one. And they'll have thousands of reasons why you can't live the American dream. Okay. But the real reason that they're saying that is why?
Because they can't.
Because, right, exactly. They can't. But just because they can't live the American dream, does it mean that I can't or you can't?
Not at all.
Absolutely not. No. And I've lived the American dream as I define it.
Mm-hmm.
And the haters tried stopping me. And they failed miserably. So here we are. So we also talked about the idea that as we're going down through our podcast and we're sharing these morsels of truth with everybody, to write them down, get a pad of paper, get a pen, write it down. You write it down, you're going to remember what we talked about. Okay. And if you remember it, it becomes your knowledge. And can anybody take away somebody's knowledge once they have it? No, they can't. It's in your brain. It's in your body. Once you have that knowledge, nobody can ever take it away. If it's internal, they can't take it away. If it's external, yeah, they might have a chance to take it away. But any knowledge that you get, it becomes yours. Nobody can take it away. We talked about the idea of, setting yourself up to get a job, get any job. Okay. And when you go to do that job, you want to be presentable. We also talked about the fact that living the American dream revolves around commerce. Okay. And we have to have something to offer other people that they're willing to buy. Oh, that's commerce. Okay. And so you need to do it better, faster, cheaper, funnier, whatever it is that you wanted, that you're going to do. You gotta have a spirit and you got to be able to do it better because there's a lot of competition for the American dream. And we also talked about the fact that part and parcel to our partners. I'm gonna speak to that again. Our partners. Our email address, dream1776@gmail.com.
3 M's.
Dream with 3 M's, 1776@gmail.com. We're talking about our partners again because we're looking for people to partner with us to help us do the work that we're trying to do, and that part and parcel to that is going to be local life coaches that can speak to these young men in person and give them life coaching skills, one-on-one. So partners, whether you want to be financial partners or equipment partners, hardware, software, space, if you have space available and you want to participate in helping our cause, teachers, life coaches, people who can help in what we're trying to do. If you've got that skill set and you're willing to help, by all means, email us, get your information over, and somebody will get back to you. Getting into episode number 2, we've got this idea that we have to work as hard as we can. Okay. We also talked about the fact last time that you can do this with or without God.
Right.
For me, it worked better because God turbocharged the time frame for me. I was able to get there sooner because I simply believed what his word said about me. I want to start there. I want to start around the idea that life and death is in the power of our words. Okay, when I speak to you or about you, I have the ability to speak life into you or death.
Right.
Okay, and that's just a natural phenomenon. Okay, is that when words go out from people's mouths, they have power.
Right.
Okay. And, this idea that, they used to say when we were kids is that, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. Well, that wasn't necessarily 100% true.
Right.
Because life and death is in the power of the words. Okay. Now, that may have made some kid feel better temporarily. Okay. But when you have somebody speaking death into your life, all right, it never feels good. All right. So if life and death is in the power of our words, what does that mean for us when we're using them?
You have to be in sync.
Well, we have to watch what we say.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, because I can use words to build you up, or I can use words to tear you down.
Right.
Okay? And probably in my marriage, once I learned the fact that life and death is in the power of my words, okay, I immediately I began to think about that in terms of my relationship with my wife. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. You mean that when I speak to my wife, I'm either speaking life or I'm speaking death into her life? From that day forward, from when I learned that, when I got the knowledge of life and death being in the power of our words. So when we're at work, okay, life and death is in the power of our words. People are listening to what you're saying, okay? They're listening to what you're doing, okay? And if what you're saying, what you're doing don't match up, then, it's irreconcilable. So when we're at work, just remember that you can speak life and death, the power of your words. And so that goes a long way towards, how people perceive you and your value at work. Now, it comes into relationships, and that's probably a different podcast. I could teach you 1,000 ways to help your marriage, okay, by making sure that you always speak really, really good to your wife. Right. But we have to watch our words. We have to understand what they're doing, and now we're going to apply it to living the dream. Life and death is in the power of the words of the things that I say over my own life.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. So it gets back to just do it. Okay. Just believe it. Just believe that, you are supposed to live an abundant life. Okay. An abundant life, it's not just reserved for the super wealthy. It's reserved for those who will enter it in and get it. Okay. So, speak life into your own, even if you have to say to yourself every day, is that I am going to live the American dream because I am taking the steps necessary to work hard and to live the American dream. And I will do a better job at whatever I do than anybody else in my path.
If you don't believe it, nobody else will.
That exactly. Thank you. Thank you. You said exactly where we were headed next. Okay. If you don't believe that you can live the American dream,
right,
you're right.
Nobody else gonna believe it.
if you can't believe it for yourself, you're right. Nobody else can believe it for you.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that you have to know and you have to believe and you have to speak over your own life that yes, and I don't care what you call it. Positive thinking, motivational speaking, motivational thing. You can call it whatever. I don't care. Okay. The words that you speak over your own life and the people around you are probably going to come true.
I mean, once you make if you're a strong individual, because there are weak ones who can't get past certain things. But if you're a strong individual, once you make a decision, nobody can stop you. You're straightforward. You're ready to go, and there's no excuses. No.
Well, you touch on a really good thing. This idea that you just brought out was that some people are weak, and let's discuss why are they weak. Okay, they're weak. Okay, 99% of the time, the reason that they're weak is because of the environment in which they grew up.
Right.
So, how do you begin to combat that weakness? Because just you may be weak. We may have thousands of listeners, right? But and they're thinking to themselves, but I'm weak. Just because you're weak today does not mean that you have to be weak tomorrow.
Right.
Okay?
That's what exercising is for.
Okay, perfect example. Perfect. Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Mm-hmm. Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't walk into the gym at 12 years old and bench 400 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Right? Mm-hmm. He didn't squat 500 pounds, okay? Or whatever it is. I don't even know what it is, okay? When he was just as weak as any other person who walked into that gym, okay? But what happened? He went in and he just did it. One day he took the first step into that gym, right? And he grabbed a hold of an iron bar. It probably had 60 pounds on it, right? And he picked up that and he did his weightlifting, okay? And he started. So just because you're weak today, it doesn't mean you have to stay weak.
Right.
You can exercise yourself and you can become strong.
I'm sure a lot of people told him, you can't be Mr. Olympian. Who do you think you
Oh, the haters. Oh, the hater. Yeah. The first day that he said that he was going to be a bodybuilder, there was 10 haters there telling him that he couldn't do it. I guarantee it. I guarantee that's the way it is. Yeah. There were 10 haters there that day. Look at how weak you are. Look at how look at your look at how pathetic you are. You don't even have a muscle in your mouth. Okay? He said no. He said, I'm going to do this, and he went and he did it. So just because you're weak doesn't mean that you have to remain weak. Just you may not be strong in your mind. It doesn't mean that you can't become strong in your mind. It just means you have to exercise. You have to put the work into your life to change it, to make it stronger, better, faster, cheaper.
$6 million man. Dun, 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 dun.
So again, we're talking about the idea that living the American dream, it's a lot of work. It's hard work. It's applying principles. It's speaking the right words over and into your own life, and just not allowing the haters any ground into determining what you can and cannot do. Period. So, the other thing that the haters do too is they can affect people's attitudes.
Right.
Okay, and I kind of experienced this situation with one of my employees over the summer. I was in our excavator. I was, digging some dirt. We were trying to get some pipe in the ground, and my employee, he had this scowl on his face. Jim saying, and I can't even do it. Because I'm
screw face.
I'm not used to having that countenance on my face. But he had this scowl on his face, and you could tell he was just completely miserable.
Right.
Right. Well, I went to my project superintendent and I said, Joe, I said I can't take the look on this guy's face. I said I just as soon fire him as look at him. So Joe said, no. He said, he's got some issues going on. So I'm like, all right, I'll cut him some slack. But the reason I say that is that our attitude shines through the countenance
Right.
and the look that we have on our face.
Right.
Okay. And so, as we're working, as we're going about our life, our work, and anything in life, okay, I think it's very important to keep a positive countenance to the extent possible. I know we all have some really bad days where we're like, we just want to pull our hair out. Okay, but we should practicing having a good, happy countenance on our face. Okay, because it shines through and it speaks volumes to the people around us.
Right.
Okay, and I bring up that example just so that people who are, the boss is watching. If the boss sees that you've got this ugly scowl on your face that you don't even want to be there,
right?
You know what I'm saying? You're not going to endear him to give you a raise.
Yeah, right.
You're going to put yourself on the edge of getting fired. Okay, so I guess be aware. Let's be aware of what's the look that we have on our face. What kind
smile?
Right. Keep a smile on your face,
even if it's like the Joker.
Right. Okay. Be aware of what are people seeing on our countenance, because it speaks volumes to people. And so again, as you're going out to get a job, keep your appearance, make it look like you should, professional. There's no reason that you can't always look professional. They've always said for eons, don't dress for the job that you have, dress for the one that you want.
Right.
Okay. And, your countenance, the way that you carry yourself, the clothes that you wear, there's nothing wrong with normal. If you just look normal, and you don't have 16 piercings in your face,
right.
When somebody goes, if you're working at a restaurant, you're not going to scare the dickens out of somebody just by them looking at you. You know what I'm saying? So, these are the things that, people need to be aware of, because if you look around at successful people, they normally have a good countenance on their face. They don't have, 15 face piercings, and the ones that do, like Dennis Rodman, all right, he used to be extremely wealthy and successful, and now you can distinguish him
right
from anybody else in the hood right now, right?
Yeah.
And what he was thrown in jail for shoplifting. Okay, here's a guy who tens of millions of dollars went through his hands, right? And he has nothing to show for it. So your countenance, always look professional, always act professional, be professional, be aware of the countenance that's on your face, because your boss and your supervisor and these people are watching. The next thing, as far as being successful at work, that we need to touch on is this idea that keep your head down, stay out of trouble. I know that when I worked for other organizations, okay, there were always jealous haters out there. Why? Because I was better, faster, cheaper than everybody else, and nobody could do the job like I did it. Okay, why? Because I worked harder, better, faster, cheaper than everybody else, and it showed. So keep your head down, do your work. Don't get involved in the drama,
right?
At the office or
Gossiping,
on the job
water
site or the
talk,
restaurant. Just
right.
Ignore it. And and that's why I say, when I worked for other organizations, the haters, they talked about me more than anybody else around. Do you know why? Because I was the most successful person.
Right. You were doing something right. That's what they say. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't doing something right.
How dare he be so successful? How can he come to work and be so successful?
Right.
And hang around us.
Right.
Us losers who don't want to be successful. How dare he come in and participate in?
Yes.
I could care less. I could care less about the haters, the losers, those who will never be successful. Why? I don't let them penetrate my world.
Right.
Okay. I've got the Iron Dome over, my head and my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I need to do. I'm going to go and do it.
Right.
And I don't care what anybody else says, does, how hard they attack it. Okay. Because it's falling on deaf eyes and deaf ears.
Right.
Or blind eyes and deaf ears. And finally, outside of work, one of the things that we're going to be encouraging people participating and living the dream is we're going to be pushing the idea of participating in your community. And one thing specifically that I'm just going to leave everybody with is if you're all caught up with work and you're all caught up at home and you don't have anything else to do, I want to encourage these young men, go out, grab a half a dozen guys on your street, okay? Get garbage cans, start picking up the trash, all the garbage and everything, okay? Do this once a week, okay? Make your street, make your neighborhood a better place to live.
Right.
Okay? Because if you're all caught up and you don't have anything else to do, go find something else good to do
Right.
in your community.
I was always taught a good deed a day.
That's right.
One good deed a day. Hey, I did my good deed for the day. I'm done.
Well, it goes a long way, and it'll help keep people out of trouble. And if you stay out of trouble, it'll help get to the goal of living the dream.
Yeah.
So, just in closing, I want to thank everybody for listening today. Again, as always, dream
with 3 M's.
Dream with 3 M's, 1776 at gmail.com. Partners, questions, participation, please email us. Thanks for watching, and we will be back very soon.